Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Mermaid Tears. Today's video is going to focus on the talk that most people have been asking me about or that they have been waiting for, and that is of course the talk about sea glass coloring. What you may not know is that Made by Meg has actually started to develop a color chart that is becoming more of an industry standard. So I, of course, have purchased one of the Carter Sea Glass coloring posters, which breaks it down with different color names and a number beside you which correlates to the rarity of that particular color, and it makes it much easier for you to figure out what color your piece of sea glass is and where it fits. And again, this is starting to kind of become more of an industry standard for sea glass coloring, and it's called Made by Meg. So I'm lucky and unlucky that I have an extremely sunny day today. That makes it difficult for me to find the right spot to show you the color charts, but hopefully this will work. So I've got this one here, which is just a picture of random colors that often comes up from Made by Meg. One of the other ones that comes up is this one here, which does a really great job of naming the colors and putting them all into clumps for you. It does not help you to know the rarity of the colors, and nor does it necessarily help you to identify the colors, because as you can see here, this is all of my reds in this little pile right here, and they just have a ruby red section, and these are my different shades of orange, and they just have a section called orange. And again, with the yellows, they just have yellow, and with the pink, they just have pink. So this one here, while it helps you to identify your colors, it does not break them down any further. So if you just want to group your colors into one grouping, then this is a nice sheet for you to look at. But if you want to get a little bit more specific, then you'd probably want to move to another chart. So I'm going to kind of just talk about these two charts together because they both label the colors with names, and this one gives you a percentage of how often you will find it, and this one gives you a number of how often you will find it, one in however many pieces, and again this is the percentage. So these ones are nice sheets if you want to look a little bit further into the rarity of your piece and if you want to name the color of your piece as well. This one here breaks it down a little bit further than the other one, so it starts to show the different levels of your ambers and your browns here. So I've got my different shades that I was talking about. So this helps to break them down a little bit further into some of those categories, and it also offers different categories of the blue, and as you can see there are definitely multiple shades of blue. So this does help a little bit if you want to keep the categories still a little bit broad, but you want to do it enough that you can divide them into a little bit further of a group. If you want to start looking at just labeling them common or rare and you're not necessarily that concerned about the percentages of them, then these three ones are a nice place to start looking because they break it down for you into easy categories of the rare to the common colors. And again, this is the one that I generally include in my kits, although I am working on my own sheet to come up with. And it just gives you the broad categories here for each of the category ratings, whether it's common or uncommon. These ones I just found the other day. This one here shows you the rarity of the pieces, but it just says rare sea glass colors, so it doesn't necessarily tell you how rare they are or where you will find them. And just on another note, I found my first piece of gray the other day. I was really excited. And these two I just found. This one here just labels the colors, which again, if you just want broad categories, that's a good one to go with. And this one here I found it a little bit difficult to actually identify the colors with. These are supposed to be different types of bottles, I believe. I didn't really get into that one any further just because I didn't necessarily understand it. So this is the Carter Sea Glass color chart, which is the one that again is starting to become the industry standard. I'm going to grab my bigger one just so you can see it a little bit more clearly. So I'm not sure how well this is going to work. So if you look at this one, you can actually see that she breaks the colors right down into the tangerines, the lime. All of the colors are broken down specifically into more kind of color categories, giving you more options to choose from and to try and figure out which one your blues belong to, or your greens, or whichever color you're looking at does belong to. So this one is nice because it takes you through identifying the colors of your sea glass as well as the rarity of your sea glass. I find this one takes much longer definitely to pull my sea glass apart and break it, and I tend to refer to it for kind of bigger finds or more unique finds that I have versus the everyday kind of putting my sea glass into categories. Thank you so much for joining me on this week's edition of Mermaid Tears. In a couple of weeks, I will have a quick video on how you can actually check the color of your chart and, check the color of your glass and actually check it against the charts. So I hope you enjoyed this week's edition of Mermaid Tears, and I always look forward to comments, questions, and feedback on both this YouTube video and of course for you to visit my website, which has some more information, and that is www.mermaidtears.ca. I hope that you have yourself an absolutely wonderful day.